Hey guys, it's Universe Heads here. I'm back in a reaction video, and today, guys, I'm reacting to the entire story of Dangerous Hunts 2011 by Smaug the DM. Now, this is actually a video I was not expecting Smaug the DM to do, so apparently this is a full story explained of the game, which is actually one of my biggest childhood games, Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2011, which honestly I am so glad to see because I've searched far and wide for like a story explained video of this game because despite this was one of my favorite games back when I was younger, I didn't really understand fully of what the story was like, what it meant, like what the story was explaining. But I do know for a fact the story is very intriguing. So I am very glad that he did this video because I really am interested to see how he's going to explain this, like what the story is, so I can understand it a bit more. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into this. And also, if my voice sounds a bit quiet, it's because I'm actually recording this at like 7 o'clock or 7:30 at night. I would have done it earlier today, but I was busy today, so. But anyways, let's just get right into this.
Back in the 2000s, Activision would partner up with the hunting and fishing store Cabela's to create two series of games that centered around hunting. The first, Big Game Hunter
2007,
would be more like your typical hunting experience, albeit with a lot more of either stories being told by the hunter's perspective or competition-based / reality TV-based stories.
more reality in these games.
Much more tame in comparison to most on-rail shooting hunting games that came out in the past. However, the Big Game Hunter
story was more just like competitions between other hunters or hunters like
where the player gets jump scared by a grizzly bear while climbing up a cliff, fighting nature's most deadly predators on foot,
like mountain lions as bosses,
especially when it was 3 leopards trying to kill the player at the same time.
Oh god, that indeed in Big Game Hunter 2010 was a freaking shit show. That was hard as hell. That's the final boss fight.
From his ground stand falling off a cliff, and another actually
Cassidy getting killed by lions.
However, these are
nothing compared to Dangerous Hunts.
Compared to Cabela's second series of games,
Dangerous Hunts.
The Dangerous Hunts.
I remember that was gameplay from one of the series where you got attacked by a bear and a tiger at the same time.
Now, the Dangerous Hunt series started pretty tame at first, much like Big Game Hunter. However, this was only for the first game.
Yeah.
Dangerous Hunts 2 ramps it up to what the series was going to be, which was an action survival horror series where animals seem to have gone mad.
And they start like coming after you little by little.
The second game even introduced cryptid animals, including Hogzilla
and also a Yeti as the final boss.
Will be relevant later. Dangerous Hunts 2009 or Dangerous Adventures is a
this one was my freaking favorite.
The two Dangerous Hunts games so far, which, that's all right. The game
I love getting attacked by multiple animals at the same time in this game.
Allows the hunter to see tracks and hidden animals in the world. So what? Do all hunters have superpowers now? Why don't I have these powers when I'm a hunter myself? And Medic got explained! 2009 also introduced us to QTEs, which were only used during the log bridge, walking parts of the game, as well as close-up melee moments of the game.
Quick time events.
Needless to say, these games so far were just simple and albeit realistic hunting
at first, Dangerous Hunts 2009 gave me like,
however,
I was scared of that game at first, but eventually I came over my fear of this of the game, and it became like my favorite.
Objectively speaking, the best Dangerous Hunts game, 2011.
Oh, this one. This was like the true definition of horror in a Cabela's game. But this game was also a bit buggy as well.
Let's talk about the main reasons.
But this has like the biggest story.
Best in this series. It first introduced the Top Shot Elite, which was essentially a controller but a gun, which is still by far the coolest controller I have ever seen made for a game.
For real.
The graphics for the game are made a whole lot better than 2009's, and the game even has the typical on-rail shooting galleries players can expect from hunting games. However, what sets this game apart from its peers is the story.
Yes, now, the story is amazing in this game.
This is not the first story campaign done in this series, but when you compare it to Dangerous Hunts 2's finding your lost partner and killing the creature that took his life, and 2009's hunting dangerous animals around the world, only to circle back and kill the Russian bear that killed the hunter in the beginning level of the game. These two
Are
stories
nothing compared to
tame
2011.
by comparison to the darker direction 2011 tames. Heck, even 2013, the last game in the Dangerous Hunt series, tried to repeat 2011's story, but failed to see what made 2011 so
No, they
dark
didn't
and
really
mysterious
kind of repeat the 2011 one, honestly.
Now, if you want me
in my
to cover
opinion.
the rest of the Dangerous Hunt stories, feel free to leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on it. Shameless plug. Getting off topic a bit, Dangerous Hunts 2011 came out on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii, and for the first and last time in this series, on the Nintendo DS.
Which is very
Now,
different from the other ones.
I have seen, apparently there is more story found within the DS version of the
Oh,
game.
really?
But I won't be covering it since, from first-hand experience, the gameplay sucks.
Yeah, from what I've seen,
And
it's nothing. It's
everyone on
not even
YouTube
close to be the
stops
same as the other
playing,
versions.
once they reach the cabin level of the game. So if anybody is willing to record the footage from the DS version of that game that goes beyond that level, feel free to let me know about it, and I might cover it later on in another video. But anyways, the story I will be covering.
I did play
the
this game on the
other versions
Wii,
of the game,
so
so
I only had a Wii
expect
console.
major spoilers ahead. If you don't want to play the game unspoiled, and we'll just get straight into this. Now, keep in mind, for this video in particular, I'm going to be putting the events of the story into full-on chronological order instead of the game's somewhat chronological story and having the past bits be explained later on in the game. I'm putting the later bits first and, you know, making sure everything is, like, full on start of the timeline to the end of the timeline, if you get what I mean.
Open your eyes, son. This land is in our blood.
I had no idea what was waiting for us in those cold woods. No idea that my life was about to change forever.
Oh, big friggin' wolves.
My father and I hardly
The wolves in this game, they're like werewolves, honestly.
we would hunt together again. Not for sport this time.
But for redemption.
Redemption.
So the story starts in 1982 in Uganda, where a governmental covert research project is being done, which is called the Nightfall Program.
The Nightfall program,
This
yeah, I heard
program,
about this
as
in the game.
Rainsford stated,
They say they're here to study animal behavior modification, breeding, training, chemical conditioning. They're making monsters.
Living weapons on a leash.
Living weapons on a leash.
now, of course, in the real world, there was no such thing as the Nightfall Program that happened
Clearly.
in Uganda. However, funny enough, the Nightfall Program does come up in Call of Duty Ghosts.
Wait, really?
Almost a one-for-one story as the program is in Dangerous Hunts 2011. So, does that mean that COD is in the same universe as Dangerous Hunts?
Oh,
If that's the case,
I'm
then
gonna
this
look that
joke
up
is so
afterwards.
much funnier
There's
than-
no way.
than when you actually
I'm
think
gonna
about
look that up
Call
after
of
this video.
Duty? Is that where you hunt humans?
Anyways, the program enlists several professional hunters to collect various different rare animals for study, as they got Samson Rainsford, an Alaskan native who spent his life hunting big game all around the world and owning a huge lodge in Uganda near the program's base, as well as Mbeki, a Ugandan native who's been hunting in Africa ever since he was a young boy and was good friends with Samson to go and capture what the locals refer to as the
The
Kaftar.
Kaftar.
Now, believe it or
Like a
not,
mythical
the Kaftar
hyena.
is
Weird
based
enough,
on
this
an
is
actual
actually the
creature.
Kaftar zone is an
The
Australian
Kaftar, in
cryptid,
short, was essentially a shifter,
but it's in
that
Africa, so how does that work?
transform themselves into a hyena, which is very similar to a werewolf. So, you know how werewolves turn into wolves?
Yeah, and Becky kind of
The
mentions like a
Kaftar
half
just
man, half
turns
beast,
into
like a
hyena.
werewolf.
That's basically the same logic.
Also, I noticed that this music
The
is actually what
creature
Super
was
Horror uses in
originally
his
found
videos.
Delhi, where a woman would transform into a striped hyena and would kill men by stealing their hearts with some sort of invisible, unknown magic. The Captar then would make its way into Africa as were hyenas, where they would be blacksmiths or healers in their villages by day, but at
Yeah, I know
night
there was like a
would
journal that
still
talked about how
rave,
was guys like,
terrorize,
I
and
stopped the
cannibalize
villagers from
people,
attacking a woman. They say
especially
the woman was a
lovers,
witch. So maybe that could have
mesmerize
been the
victims
Captar.
with their eyes, and even after the end of a battle would suck the blood of dying soldiers, similar to a vampire. So yeah, think of a were hyena as basically the mix of a werewolf and a vampire together.
Hmm.
That's fucking terrifying
That
when
is
you think
terrifying.
about it. All of this is made apparent even from the journals done by the warden, in which, yes, he does sound like Becky because
Yeah.
the characters are done by the same voice actor, but I can attest that these are two separate characters based on later journals by the warden in later levels of the game. But anyways, the warden then states that
Today,
Yep, this one.
I stopped the villagers from
They
attacking
said
a
she was
woman.
a witch.
They said the woman was a witch, and that she had summoned a dark creature called the Captar to prey upon them.
However, what differs from this creature from its usual nature is that the villagers believe it to be a demonic creature that has the ability to control other animals around it. The creature seems to have lived for thousands of years based on cave paintings in its lair,
Yeah,
and that the only
the
way to
cabin trouble
truly kill it was to burn the creature.
was fire.
So Samson Mbeki and another hunter that Mbeki was very good friends with went out to capture the Captar in its lair. The creature under the blanket of darkness attacks Samson when Mbeki tranquilizes the creature. The Captar was able to be captured, however, Samson received very nasty scars from the creature.
Yeah, and Samson lost
Mbeki's
his eye in the
friend,
process.
who ran away from the creature when Samson was getting attacked, gets killed before the Captar is fully knocked out. Once the Captar was taken out of its lair, Dr. Albert and another unnamed scientist from the program begin to work on studying the Captar, which they call Crocura cryptidae, which funny enough is the scientific word for hyena cryptid. That's fucking funny as shit.
Yeah.
And they studied
Crocura
the Captar's ability
cryptidae.
to control animals.
What the hell?
The program was then able to perfect the Captar's ability to commanding animals by creating some strange red whistle.
Oh yeah, there was that thing, right? I noticed.
Ominously creepy sound to it.
So that's what that was. Oh, I honestly did not know that. So basically, this thing was that weird whistle we hear in the end of the grizzly fight, and also in the caverns level. And I guess that's what makes it so all the animals attack in the end of the grizzly fight. That freaking those wolves attack and they end up killing Adrian. That actually kind of makes sense.
However, once the whistle was then created, the Captar was able to escape, and Rainsford puts it as
The program went off the rails. The research staff lost control. People started dying. They called in soldiers, but it was already too late. Becky and I are pulling out tonight. We won't be coming back.
Seeing that the project completely failed, Dr. Albert, in order to correct his mistake, asked for all of the project's research to be burned, destroyed. However, the unnamed colleague had other plans, as he stated in basically the final journal entry of the entire game.
I can't bear the thought of all of our work being erased. I've arranged for one of the hunters, an American named Rainsford, to smuggle some of my files out of the country. With that data, I should be able to resurrect the program at a later date.
Alaskan grizzly bear. Also, that's one of the funniest killing missions. He's giving Colum a bear hug.
Before we play through the rest of the events of the game. So, at some point, Rainsford and this unnamed scientist from the program seemed to work together back in Alaska, where it seems like the scientist was able to create a new species based on his findings in that of the large black
These
wolves
big black
with red
wolves,
eyes.
like almost like
Now, I have
werewolves.
previously asked this question as to what the hell they could be,
Werewolves or skinwalkers?
mixed results.
I think it's here we find the wolves off. The game doesn't have an explanation, but if you hear this whistle before the wolves attack after the bear fight, you hear whistle before the giant wolf with the hump comes out that's unkillable. My theory is that they're skinwalkers or entirely something supernatural. Perhaps the Rainsford family has. Either the ghost wolves or dire wolves. I think the wolves are probably dire wolves, or they could be Shunka, Warrican, or Dogmen, or be a different breed of hellhounds, or again dire wolves. Yeah, I noticed that they're freaking huge, honestly. Like they are not no wolves. They're like literally werewolves or even skinwalkers.
From that. However, through doing some extensive research, I believe to have found the creatures that these wolves are based on. Now, this is not exactly what they are in the game, but seeing how the Captar does have some differences based on its cryptid counterpart, the wolves are based on the Keelut.
The Keelut?
The Keelut, in short, was an evil spirit that took the form of a large, hairless black dog with the only furry part about this cryptid is, its feet. It has fur only on its feet, but everywhere else it's hairless. But the creature would stalk lonely travelers in cold winter nights before killing them. It's said that they are related to Black Shuck of England, so yeah, they're basically a hellhound, if you will.
Damn.
In that the Keelut leaves no tracks in the snow, and that people who see it will associate it as an omen of death. Even the sight of a Keelut would cause the witness to become disoriented with prolonged exposure, causing hypothermia and death.
Damn.
Now, despite these wolves being very furry, the other abilities of the Keelut make sense here, considering when the player character of the story, Cole Rainsford, gets attacked by one, his vision becomes very disoriented and blurry, as well as the cold winter night setting where the creature is said to hunt it. Now, these Keeloots seem to be able to be controlled by the whistles from the program.
Oh yeah, I've heard a whistle played here as well.
So to thank Rainsford for helping him out in continuing his work, the unnamed scientist basically just gives him the whistle over. Then in 2001, the night before the events of the game, a group of hikers decide to camp out in Rainsford's woods. The group at first seems to like the untouched nature of the forest,
but then something happens. They get killed, which I think was the grizzly. I'm pretty sure it was the grizzly, right? Yeah.
Young named hiker even writes that
we heard a new sound last night. A strange, high-pitched noise like a whistle.
Oh yeah, and this journal entry
I'm starting to wonder if we're alone out here.
And that even at one point,
the wolves came into our camp last night.
Yep.
I could hear them whining and growling right outside my tent.
Oh, that's recorded from the gameplay.
We've decided to break camp at first light.
After the unnamed hiker writes this part of the journal, it seems as if a grizzly bear then shows up and mauls everyone except for the unnamed hiker.
Yeah, because
his final journal
the camp, because Adrian realized it was a bear that did this.
Ending to it, as he writes,
I've lost everyone. It's dark, and I have no idea where I am. I should have stayed behind to help the others, but when I heard the screams, I panicked. I keep hearing that whistle. Someone must be nearby. Maybe they'll help me. I need to get back to the camp and find my friends.
As it was stated in the last two entries of the hiker's journal, and from what we can gather from what we already know, it is implied that the Keelut wandered around the camp before the bear came and killed the hikers. One of the hikers managed to escape, but it was clear that the Keelut managed to kill him due to being associated with the whistling sound, and that the hiker was alone in his final entry. Now, huge side note here, after listening to these journals and watching the game's cutscenes like multiple times, I slowly realized while making this video that Samson Rainsford might have been a psychopath.
Damn.
What? Now, I'm
What?
not about to diagnose a fictional character with a reason why they do some actions within the story, much like how people think that Dutch Vanderland having a concussion is the biggest reason why his personality changes in Red Dead 2. But given what the events of Dangerous Hunts 2011 gives us, and for what I'm about to tell you in the rest of the story, you might think the same way I do. And I guess I'll try to explain myself even better towards the end of this video.
It had been years since I'd last set foot on my family's land. My father was never an easy man to get along with.
Oh, where do you find that?
But I knew how much this hunt
Rainsford
meant to him. I had no idea what was waiting for us in those cold woods. No idea that my life was about to change forever.
Now, we're up to date with the events of the game with the game itself. Samson Rainford, as well as his two sons, Cole and Adrian, go out in the morning for Cole's first hunt as a rite of passage. Cole manages to take down an elk, which his father tracked the night before. As the family were about to take the elk back to the lodge, a cougar attacks Samson
cougar.
as Cole
The cougar's
shoots
like
at the
evil in
cat,
this game.
wounding it. Samson, after scolding at his son for not killing the cat, tells Cole to track down and hunt the cougar, in which Cole was able to kill the
Put it
cat.
out of its misery.
The family then notices smoke nearby. As Samson believes them to be poachers, they circle around the campsite where they find everyone dead. Adrian believes that the cougar that they just killed did this,
But it wasn't.
his
It was a
father
grizzly bear.
immediately cuts him off and states,
No mountain lion did this. Fire's still warm. No more than 12 hours. Looks like hikers. 3 men and a woman. They must have been lost. They're probably still here, sleeping off the meal.
Adrian then, obviously asks, what could have done this, as Samson would then tell him, you tell me. And the family spreads out and looks for any tracks. Cole then is able
And
to
there's
find
bear
some
tracks.
grizzly tracks at a main campsite. And to his father's surprise, as Adrian then goes, wait a minute, what? Questions his own dad about this reaction, as Samson then responds,
Nothing. It's just not what I expected.
Adrian then boldly decides that they need to all hunt this grizzly bear together before kill somebody else. As Cole at first kind of disagrees with his brother's decision on this, but after some don't you ever come back words from his dad, Cole then joins up with the rest of the family to hunt the bear. After Adrian spots it on the top of a mountain, he fires a shot, despite his father's advice to hold his fire. Then, as a nearer to Dangerous Hunt 2009, funny enough,
Oh,
an
yeah.
avalanche falls on the group as Cole is separated
Yeah, and
from his
now you
father
shoot the
and
brown
brother.
bear and an avalanche
That
happens.
night, Cole finally awakens from being passed out and makes his way towards the location of the bear. On the way, a wolf ambushes him, and he falls into what appears to be an abandoned church in the middle of the
Or like a
woods,
cemetery.
which is never explained. It's just never explained
It's just
why
there,
there's a
just
church
to be
there. Nothing in the game hints to this church. Just nothing.
Wow.
I have some theories about this church, but I don't think there's any explanation as to why there's just a random abandoned church in the middle of these woods. But anyways, after killing off the wolf pack, he continues on his way, where he then sees the bear being attacked by another pack of wolves. Eventually, towards the end of the bear's trail, a Kilu, along with a pack of wolves, attack Cole. However, as soon as the Kilu is about to end Cole's life,
The whistling.
a strange whistle sound could be heard, as the Kilu and his wolf pack kind of retreat.
And coincidentally, when they
The bear then
escape,
shows up
or
and
run away,
attacks
the bear
Cole.
just randomly shows up.
Then, after managing to kill the bear off, Adrian then shows up to his brother, and he says that he'd watched the whole thing and tried to help, but he couldn't get a good shot in. Adrian then gets concerned with his brother's condition, quoting,
You look like you're about to have a stroke, man.
and telling his brother that he hasn't seen his dad ever since the avalanche. The pair then hear the strange whistle noise, and as soon
A whole
as
pack
they
of
go,
Keeloots
what
come
is
in.
that? A whole pack of Keeloots
Yep.
then immediately attack them, and just
They
immediately
just start
kill Adrian
mauling the
right
shit
on
out of
spot.
Adrian.
As Cole then blacks out.
So how did the wolf, Katanga lion, how the frick did Cole not die from those
Now
Keeloots?
again, this is where there is a huge gap in what happens in the story. After Samson gets Cole and, unfortunately, Adrian's dead body out of the woods, they both never forgave each other or themselves for Adrian's death. For the next 10 years, neither of them interacted with each other. Cole would follow in his father's footsteps and become a professional hunter himself, while Samson would retire and live out in his lodge in Uganda. It was then where the Kaftar would finally reappear after 29 years of hiding and going after villages across Uganda. At first, a zoological team was sent out there to determine what the problem was, as the unnamed zoologist explains.
Dr. Bauer and I have not yet been able to identify the predator species responsible for the recent attacks. The physical evidence is sketchy at best, and the few eyewitness accounts we've heard stretch the limits of credibility. Dr. Bauer is not prepared to rule out the possibility that a pride of lions are responsible for the recent attacks. However, the invasion of inhabited homes suggests a level of habituation rarely found among big cats.
After the zoological team states that it's a pride of lions attacking these villages, Mbeki and Samson they don't buy this shit. They don't think this is the right answer. As more and more attacks occur, the unnamed warden then states that
The local villagers are on the verge of rioting. They say that if the government cannot protect them, then they will protect themselves. I fear what will happen if these beasts are not found soon.
after protecting a woman from being killed by what the villagers claim to have seen her call upon the Kaftar to hunt them, the warden then remembers stories that his grandfather told him about the beast.
Oh, yeah.
That night, he states that
Last night I saw these creatures with my own eyes. They came from the savannah like shadows in the dark. Before I could fire, I heard a strange whistling sound, and the beasts fled as one. The villagers are right. Evil forces are at work here.
as the warden realized he needed more help, he asked Samson Rainsford, who didn't live far from there, to help hunt the Kaftar. He agrees to go hunt it down after telling the warden that he had hunted this creature before. Samson then goes off to find Mbeki, who also agrees to go after the beast again. The unnamed warden, on the other hand, falls to the other villagers' panicked state, with his final journal entry stating that
I gather the village men told
But
them
they
to bring
need
their
to
traps to the
act
petrol
before it's
station.
too late.
The destruction will be terrible, but we have no choice. We must act now, before we are
Which
all
basically
dead.
explains the fire.
However, much like the other villages that we see do this as well later on in the story, these attempts also fail to kill the Kaftar.
Yeah.
So then Samson decides that it's finally time for his son to come join him on this hunt, with Cole agreeing to join as he feels that it's...
Not for sport this time,
But for redemption.
but for redemption.
However, before Cole could make it to Uganda, Samson orders Mbeki, should they ever get separated, that he bring Cole to the cave where the Kaftar lives, so that the Cole can hunt the beast down.
Oh. River Hippo.
Once again, back into the game itself, Samson basically explains what I have already gone through to his son, with one exception. As Samson tells Cole,
Make no mistake, son. These
Beasts
beasts
are
we're
hunting
hunting are
pure
pure evil.
I know what you're thinking.
Words like good and evil have no place in the natural world. You'd be right about that.
There ain't nothing natural about these.
as the group gets separated by a hippo,
By a freaking
attacking
hippo.
the boat, Cole makes it through the river delta to find his father's boat. There, his father calls out on the radio that he washed ashore 10 clicks downriver from the boat, and that he will be making his way to his hunting lodge. He then instructs his son to go find Mbeki as he's waiting for Cole. Making it to the grasslands, Mbeki spots Cole from the mountains and instructs Cole to be very careful when moving through the tall
To the
grass,
lions.
and gives instructions as to how to get to him. After reaching to Mbeki's position, Mbeki then tells Cole about the Kaftar and why the villagers are burning the savannah to kill
Because they
it.
think
However,
fire will
Cole
kill it.
doesn't believe in the supernatural, which, oh boy, You can't explain why big black wolves just suddenly killed your brother.
Appeared out of nowhere and
or
killed your brother
blurry.
yet. And you don't believe the Captar?
There might be problems there.
Yeah.
But anyways, however, Mbeki tells him that the Captar is only killing for the fun of it rather than substance.
Just like the
As
Indominus
Mbeki
Rex.
goes
Kills
philosophical,
for the fun of it.
if you will, a leopard attacks him, which Cole kills the leopard before it could make the killing blow. Mbeki, after receiving a nasty bite from the leopard, says that he can barely walk and that Cole should leave him behind.
But how did he make it to where Cole found the truck then if he couldn't walk?
And takes them to Mbeki. Mbeki, after seeing the poachers following behind them, tells Cole to get in the back to protect the truck. As Mbeki drives throughout the savannah, Cole protects the truck from the poachers and from herds of scared buffalo. Once they escape from the poachers,
and a friggin' rhino shows up.
Rhino attacks the truck and sends both the truck and Cole flying into a wrecked building.
The rhino hit like a runaway train. 2,000
The
pounds
rhinos in
of
this game,
bone
they
and
look
armored
evil as
muscle.
hell. They look so
The
evil.
raging flames had driven the beast mad. I knew nothing short of my own death would quench the fury in the rhino's heart.
After Cole has no choice but to kill the rhino, Mbeki then thanks Cole for saving his life. He then mentions his long-lost friend, who Cole shared many similarities to him.
And then Mbeki just leaves us for dead because he feels like we're not like
knocks Cole out and leaves him behind.
Because we're not fit for this.
After waking up, Cole
because he feels that
follows
we're not
Mbeki's
actually
trail
fit for
to the
for hunting the
abandoned
Captar.
military base, where after they both stop a pride of lions from killing them, Mbeki lets Cole into the fort. Mbeki then tells Cole that this is where he met his father all those years ago, and that Cole needs to look into the base to see the truth. However, after listening to the horrors about the Nightfall program, Mbeki then gets attacked and
By
nearly
baboons.
killed by a troop of baboons.
Demonic-looking
while
baboons.
Cole saves him, much like Mbeki did the night before. Mbeki then reveals to Cole after Cole is not sad.
Okay, weird thing. So during that part, we have to defend Mbeki from the baboons. Even if you defend him and you don't make sure no baboons get into the tower and hurt him. Even if Mbeki takes no damage from the baboons when you're defending him, he'll still die, honestly. Which honestly is kind of weird.
From what he found, that after Cole saved his life, he decided that he should kill the Captar himself, and that the evil of the Captar lives inside Samson, with the only cure to it being the death of the creature.
Death of the creature to
Mbeki then
kill
dies,
it or to stop
leaving
it.
the key to the cave system to Cole as he storms off into the cave to find his father. Once Cole gets closer to his father,
This is when
tells
things
him
really
over
get fucking
the radio
creepy.
that he believed that the wrong son had died that night in 2001.
And the music is suspenseful as hell.
Only due to Cole at the time being very inexperienced in hunting compared to his younger brother, which, wow, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
That's a really shitty dad move. To just tell your one and only living son that, yeah, I thought your younger brother was the better you. Which, it's kind of sad.
Think the younger brother is
once Cole
better not
makes
the
it to
older?
the Captar's lair, Samson reveals to Cole how wrong he has been about Cole's abilities, and that Mbeki even told him that he lost his mind over his plan of letting his son hunt the beast that he couldn't kill himself. However, at the last moment, Samson has a change of heart and helps Cole get out after he tells him that he can't bear to watch another son die. As Samson tells Cole that he has nightmares about Adrian's death and that he is proud of his son for becoming the man that he is, Samson accidentally steps on a landmine, with his final words telling Cole that the Captar is very real, and that after it's done with him,
it's gonna come for Cole next.
For his son. Cole once again hears the strange whistle as he makes his escape to his father's lodge, with him even seeing the whistle for himself. After entering the burning lodge, Cole then sees the Captar jump into the fiery lodge with him,
final
as
boss
Cole
fight
puts
unfolds.
an end to the beast once and for all. After trapping the Captar under a chandelier in the burning lodge, Cole escapes from the building. However, before he does, he turns around
He sees a portrait of him and his brother and his dad.
that Cole killed. back in 2001. As the building collapses around him, the photo covers Cole and Samson as Cole sees Adrian through the photo as the fire rages on. And that's basically the entire story of Dangerous Hunts 2011.
All right.
It's definitely pretty fucking dark.
It is very
honest,
interesting.
This is the main reason
for
why
Cabela's
this
game
probably scared everyone out of their mind.
Yeah,
once it came out.
this Cabela's game was
Why,
literally the
objectively
icon of
speaking,
horror in a Cabela's
it's the
game.
best in the series. Now, this is literally just up for interpretation as to, like, and there's just so many plot holes in this story, like, then where the fuck did the Captar come from? Why did, like, what other creatures, or what was where was the unnamed scientist going to after the program failed and killed the Keyloots? Like, what the fuck? Like, there's so many what the fuck happened explanations that don't get explained very well. But this is definitely me trying
we need
to
Matt Pat to dive deeper into this. He probably knows something about this.
Overall, this story's not too bad.
Yeah, for a bit of a glitchy hunting game, the story is very good, honestly.
Pretty fucking terrifying when you really think about it. And this is probably why so many people love and cherish this game in particular.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really about
it. But it is a bit buggy, though.
What I'm going to go into now, which is Samson might be a psychopath. Now,
Conspiracy theory
hear
mood.
me out on this. Samson, back in 2001, is out the night before, right? And only because, when they go to the camp, he says fire's been out for no more than 12 hours, which means it's the same night that this bear. And so if Samson was out there that same night, right, then how come he's surprised when the thing that killed the campers was a bear? He's actually shocked by that. It's like he almost knew what the answer was.
The Keyloots?
Also, the fact that Adrian just so happens to lose his dad after the avalanche, doesn't find him, and even towards the end of the game, like, he even confesses, like, I can't bear to watch another son die, hinting at the fact that Samson intentionally tried to get one of his sons killed.
What?
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I mean, I do remember in the caverns level, he did mention, like, as you're walking through, he said, I never meant for Adrian to get hurt. So maybe that couldn't mean, like, this was intentional. Maybe, like, because I do also know, in the, at the end of the Rhino fight, I know, like, and I think the reason why Becky, like, knocked Cole out and, like, left him for dead was because he felt like he didn't have it in him to be, like, an expert hunter and then coming to kill the Captar, basically. Because that's the real reason why Cole came, to finally, after when he heard about the Captar going about, and then, like, well, after when Samson and Becky were hearing about the Captar going about on a killing spree, slaughtering people in villages, that since they knew Cole was an expert hunter, they figured, I'm gonna call him and see if we can get him to help us kill the Captar. Because maybe, like, back then he just didn't. Because even when I know Adrian was, like, during the part when he found out the bear was the one that killed the hikers, he was like, don't give me that look, Cole. I'm not your kid brother anymore. I can track and shoot better than you. It's like they kind of all, like, were thinking that Cole wasn't really, like, best for this, and maybe then Samson kind of just wanted to just get rid of one of his sons, but because he was worried for how, like, for what could have become of his sons or something. I'm probably overthinking some theories right now, but I'm just trying my best to kind of, like, build up my thoughts of what was the whole thing behind everything. But then again, like I said before, Samson did say in one of the caverns recordings as you're going through the level, I never meant for Adrian to get hurt. So maybe he just didn't want it. He never really wanted this to really happen to one of his sons, basically. And plus, they also both don't forgive themselves for Adrian's death, basically. So maybe, again, that can conclude that Samson was involved with Adrian getting killed by the Keludes.
And then not only that, but his entire Uganda spiel, like the whole Cole going to Uganda, is for literally him to go after the beast that like Samson could not kill all those years ago. It's like, what?
Bruh.
What the shit? And Samson, like, almost like at the last minute is like, yeah, there's no fucking way he's gonna do this. Like, what?
Bro.
What? What the fuck? So you can't tell me that at the very least, Samson might be a psychopath due to him being helping out an evil scientist. Let's be for real. He helped out an evil scientist continue his work. Evil scientist gives him the whistle to control said creatures.
Control the animals.
He uses the Keludes to kill anybody on his property, and intentionally uses the whistle to kill one of his own sons, with then his later plan of when the Kaftar re-emerge, he's like, you know what? My other son could probably kill it.
Maybe he has a change of heart with, like...
With the intention of hopefully he can do it.
But and Becky didn't really think he had what it takes.
Okay, yeah, you really cannot fucking do this. It's only when Cole gets to the cave that he switches it. Like, even the warden, like, hears this whistling noise in the night, which probably means that Samson was intentionally sending the Kaftar to go kill people. Like, and then I'm, like, thinking, like, what the fuck is the goal? What is your goal? If it's not to kill everybody off, which is crazy to me.
Like,
this story's absolutely...
Like, maybe, like, he intentionally, like, wanted, like, sent the Kafir to kill people so he can, like, maybe, like, get his son to do it, because he was... I mean, I don't know, that doesn't really make much sense.
Insane for the
wrong
reasons. Because it's, like, literally the main driving point of this story is Samson, the dad, in the whole game. It's like, what the fuck?
African leopard.
Like, I'm not about to, like, tell you that he's a psychopath, but at the same time, the evidence is pretty damn clear. Especially after I told you the entire story. But yeah, that's, like, literally my unhinged theory about Samson actually being a freaking murderer. Holy shit.
Damn.
But yeah, guys, that's really the end, of Dangerous Hunts 2011. And if, again, you guys are interested in me telling you the other 4 stories of this series, you know, let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, do more. Maybe do, like, Dangerous Hunts 2013.
You know, subscribe to the channel to keep up with the Dangerous Hunts series. And until next time, guys, I am the DM.
Alright. And Jesus Christ, this is probably my longest reaction, with it being 43 goddamn minutes. Well, probably more. How much longer could it keep going? So, alright, this was really interesting. I still don't fully understand, like, the whole thing. I'll have to watch this video a few times to kind of, like, still get more of a better idea. I mean, I think I kind of, like, gathered up a bit of information from what this explained, from, like, the story behind the game. So, like, basically, like, the Nightfall program, was, like, an evil corporation. They were studying, like, animal behavior. So, like, they had, like, that whistle that, like, they blew it to, like, see, like, I guess, like, test the behavior of the animals. And also they were researching on, like, cryptids, which was, like, the Kaftar, to, like, study its, like, behavior and everything. And then, like, when Samson, like, went to his, like, research area or something like that in Alaska, and we saw that in the journal with, like, there was campers that, like, heard, like, they heard a whistling sound, and then that's when the wolves, or the Keludes, those big black wolves, came towards their camp because they heard the whistle, because it's like, or it's kind of like this, like, you know, in Chaos Theory, when that creepy lady, she blows the whistle, and the Atrociraptors, like, they go for, like, whatever target. So basically, this is kind of what it's kind of already, like, building up to. Like, the scientists, like, they use the whistle, they blow it, and then it sends animals after, like, whoever, like, is they want them to target. That's what I'm kind of starting to think right now. So it's kind of like with Chaos Theory, with the Atrociraptors and that whistle. So apparently it seems like, yeah, like, the wolves, like, they they went to the camp. I think they were the ones that killed, because the ones that killed most of the campers. I mean, one of them in the journal said that he's lost everybody, and he heard like screaming. He heard screaming. He freaked out. But then if that was I don't know if he's referring to like the camp we saw in the rite of passage of, but if so, that really doesn't make sense, because they found out that it was a grizzly bear that killed them, right? And it was very recent about the attack. So like that's like I said, I'll have to rewatch this whole thing again, like at least a few times, to kind of understand a little bit more, like with like everything like that the game explains the story of. And then with going to the African levels, how basically when they were like the villagers, they tried to kill a witch who was associated with the existence of the Kaftar, with like sending it to like attack people. And then like and then Rainsford, basically when he was telling Becky about this, like they knew this was like becoming too serious, how like with how bad the Kaftar was becoming with like killing people. When Samson figured that when he knew his son would become a professional hunter, since they were separated for like 10 years after the death of Adrian, he figured with his son being now a professional hunter, he would have them reunite so they can hunt the Kaftar for redemption, to kind of like fix everything, like fix their past mistakes. And then he also had a theory that maybe that Ransford intentionally killed Adrian, which I think could be possible, because again, in the caverns level, there's a tape that plays when you're walking through the caverns where Ransford was like, I never meant for Adrian to get hurt. So maybe like he was intentionally trying to kill one of his sons, but because again, I think around that time he didn't really think Cole had it in him to like become a hunter or something like that. And we even kind of saw this, but we did see that a bit with Mbeki in the end of the Rhino boss fight, when that's the reason why he abandoned Cole, because he thought he wasn't going to have it in him to come to Africa and just destroy the Kaftar. But then he kind of like knew, like I guess like saw how wrong he was about when he saved Mbeki from the baboons, just like what Mbeki did to him against those lions during the wildfire. So then he knew that it was up to Cole to find the Kaftar and take it down. And then when Cole reunites with his father, he just feels like now after this, like he just can't watch one of his sons die. So then he wants him to try to like have his son succeed or something like that. Again, I'm probably misleading or misspeaking a lot of things. Again, I'll have to watch this a few times. But other than that, Smile the DM, if you do see my reaction video, amazing job on this. I really liked it. You went into really good detail. I'm going to watch this a few more times so I can understand a bit more, because I really was looking far and wide for a story explaining video of this game, and I'm glad I found one. So thank you so much, bro, for doing this video. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end this very long reaction right here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more. It really helped out a ton, and I'll see you guys in the next video.